This is Humans on the Road, where I interview people on the intricate parts of their lives. All right, well, welcome to Humans on the Road. Today on this podcast, we have Jarod. So tell me a little bit about your background, Jarod.
Background, as far as what? I guess, like who I am from Michigan. Moved out to Reno about a year and a half ago, and just been living on the West Coast ever since then. I went to college and got a degree in mechanical engineering, and now I'm just doing that for an aerospace company.
Cool. Where'd you go for college?
Michigan Tech.
Sweet.
Small engineering school in the Midwest.
Cool. I guess along the lines of Outsiders, how did you hear about the group?
I think I heard about it from Maddie on TikTok.
You have a TikTok?
I do have a TikTok. Mainly for my TikTok, like recently, has just been skiing videos. Like that was a lot of what the winter was. My For You was great because it was just people doing sick skiing stuff or drinking. So
I was gonna say the
great,
deal on
or great,
seltzers.
good combos. But yeah, I think I saw her. Just came across the feed. I think it was close to the Joshua Tree one, like the first one.
Okay.
It was definitely like the group was I think it was just after that because the group was a thing, and I joined on Facebook just to see like who was in my area for stuff to do. And then I got permits to go Summit Whitney, and I wanted people to go. I had like a bunch of spaces, so I asked with an outdoorsy group. I was like, well, somebody's gonna want to go. So I asked, and then I met a couple people that said they were interested. And then Gunner was one of the people who was then also working for the Mammoth trip and just told me to show up.
Sweet.
On my way down. So then I just like didn't want to leave.
There you go.
And so that was basically my first thing with Outsiders.
Very fun. How many other events have you been to?
Two? Yeah, two. Because there's the Slow and the Tahoe one. Yeah.
All right, do you have a favorite out of either one?
Probably the Mammoth one though, just because it was like a lot of fun. Also, it was just fun. I don't know how I did it, but like showing up to Whitney, hiking Whitney all day, coming back and staying up until 2. And just being up from 24 hours and drinking afterwards. Yeah, just drinking all weekend and then just doing that insane hike and still drinking afterwards. And just being like, how am I still up right now?
That was funny.
It was just a fun weekend, and then it was just like chilled after that. But it was just nice being, I don't know, Mammoth's really nice. I like that area, so it was nice being down there too.
It was very pretty. I love that area. Well, how has this group changed you, if it has?
I'm definitely more social a little bit, especially like not a huge texter really, or like group texter, but now I have like a shit ton of group chats. Because like as you said and Maddie said, these people have like become some of my best friends, or like people I talk to all the time. It also just feels like you meet some of these people, and like, yeah, it really just becomes that it feels like you've almost known them forever, or like there's no one, you meet a lot of people who are into the same stuff as you, so you can even like talk about like random stuff, like nothing, or you can talk about like with Matt, like we talk about like climbing stuff all the time, like trips we want to go do, so there's always someone to talk to. It also gives me an excuse to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I would really have no reason to go to Slow except for that people wanted to go to that trip, and I was like, sure, screw it, like it's gonna be a bunch of Mammoth people, I'll go, and it could be a fun time, and also it gives me an excuse to go travel down that way and see stuff that I haven't seen before. So
Sure.
I'd say it just gets me more out of my comfort zone. It's probably what's changed me.
What are your favorite hobbies? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out and do?
Right now, a lot of it's top three. A lot of it would be rock climbing, mountain biking, and then probably skiing for the winter time.
No 14er?
Well, I guess hiking 14ers is fun, but I only did Whitney, and then I
So you haven't gotten that high yet. You have to.
Well, because Shasta keeps getting closed, so I can't go do Shasta.
True.
So that's kind of put me behind. And then I have the Colorado ones coming up, but then Rainier and Shasta are coming up in August, I think. I just have to find good time windows is the hard part.
True. It's rough.
Yeah.
How do you feel about everyone just loving your dog at all the meetups?
Oh, I'm used to it at this point. Like everyone loves my dog, and they just go, "Oh, and you're here too." So, you know, he's
cute.
cute.
If I pet him? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. He just wanders. He gets pets and food when he wants to, and it's nice that everybody loves dogs usually or loves him, but it's also nice that like I can bring him to a lot of these things. Like people don't care, or like we do a lot of stuff that's dog friendly, because that is like something that would be hard, especially with these outsider events. Like I could like find a place to board him or a friend to watch him for the weekend, but if I can bring him, it's just like one less thing to worry about or like pay for. So it's just like nice that we can just hop in the car and go.
Yeah, also helps you make friends.
That too, yeah.
This lighting is not great, but whatever. Okay, describe your perfect day.
Oof. Probably waking up, either making or getting some nice coffee, and going for a hike. Probably chilling for a little bit afterwards, or getting like craft beer, and then just like maybe like a fire, like hanging out with friends.
No rock climbing? No mountain biking?
Rock climbing would be nice. Mountain biking would be nice too, especially like here I can go do those like I can go climb Donner and then also bike. So I guess it'd be nice if I could do multiple activities. A lot of the time it's just my friends are only into one activity or the other. So like usually my perfect day is choosing one activity, doing that, getting beer afterwards, and then just like hanging out for the rest of the night. So I guess I shouldn't say hiking, but bagging 14er is always a good time. So.
Fair. What title would you give this chapter of your life, and why?
Oh boy. Experimentation.
Why?
Only because like I'm doing more things, like I said earlier, like out of my comfort zone, or like starting to do more, like getting into actual mountaineering, or like harder rock climbing, or like more activities, or like taking my activities to a next level, or just like hanging out with more people or going more places. So just experimenting with like road trips or like camping style. Like I used to always be a tent camper, and well, one, now that I have Hoder, like it's nice because I have a 3-person tent so he fits, but also like sometimes it's just easier to just sleep in my car, and especially now that I've been hanging out with people like who are in vans or in like change out their trucks, or like Kevin had his car like all decked out and that was just like a small car. Like it's not worth setting up a tent necessarily if I can just like throw a sleeping bag in a car and just sleep for the night anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's super nice.
kind of like experimenting with like what works or what I want to do now with like kind of my new camping setup or like the trips I'm going to take.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Somewhere close to the outdoors. Like Reno's nice for jumping off for a lot of these trips, but I don't want to stay here forever. So probably like Colorado, but like definitely doing remote work would be nice, but something that I could do like a lot of time outside, or like work a schedule where it's either like 410s and then I'm still doing like 3-day weekend trips, or something where it's like there's like a schedule where you can do like 90-hour work weeks, or it's like a week and a half and then you have like 5 days off or something like that. Something that would definitely allow me to balance it. Obviously remote work would be ideal.
Would that be something in engineering or switch?
Yeah, you could do engineering, it would just be more like project management or something like that. So yeah, definitely doing a role where I can still do the engineering that I enjoy, but also it gets me outside a lot more. Or I might just say screw it and just go outside and just be like a guide.
Yeah.
Work on my skills for the next couple of years and then just say screw it and go be like a rock climbing guide or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential in that.
Because especially like I said, hang out with everybody. Van life has changed me where I'm like, I don't need, especially now that like I have almost all my gear, I don't need a ton of money if I'm living in a van, or like housing, or like also gas. So you know, if I
you also get like free housing.
Right, if I'm a guide, you can get free housing, or like just definitely changing up my viewpoint of not necessarily like the American dream, but or like having a place in a garage and all that stuff. It's like I have my van and all my gear, and I can just go wherever I want to, or like work a little place here, or like guide in Yosemite for a bit, and then like when Yosemite gets too cold, go somewhere else and like do whitewater rafting or something else, or just like jump around.
Or skiing,
Right, or do skiing things like that could just be a lot more fun than. Right now I'm leaning more towards that, but realistically, I think it'll be a combination of both. Yeah,
the savings might not be a guide, but
Right, yeah.
Since Outsiders is also so focused on dating and it's a singles group, are you single, Jarod?
Currently, yeah.
Are you open to dating?
Yeah, I would say if the right person comes along, I'd be open to dating him.
What are you looking for with that significant other?
Someone who I feel like definitely can be independent, but also obviously really enjoys like quality time with each other, or like would want to go do these outdoors things with me. Even if it's like, it'd be ideal if they would do some of the activities with me, but if they don't necessarily like want to go climb a super tall rock face, but they want to like sit at the bottom and like still hang out with like everybody else that's there, like that'd be a fun time. At least we're like still there. Yeah, I'm going for like an hour climbing, but we're still hanging out like around the crag or something like that. But I definitely, because a lot of my trips are just like, I'm gonna pick up and go for the weekend. It'd be nice that if they don't want to go, or like a lot of my week is spent heavily at work or preparing for the next trip, so it's like I'm not gonna always be around you. And so if like we spend some time apart as like independent, that would be nice.
Very true. Okay. Good to know. What is your top physical and personality qualities in someone?
Personality is someone, I guess, kind of like me, who I'm kind of a squirrel, you know, jumping all over the place. Just 1 minute I can have a deep conversation. Yeah, you never heard that? Like the ADHD thing. Yeah, like like you have a deep conversation, all of a sudden I'm just like over here doing, or like have a completely different thought about what you're
like
just
so like when a dog's like a squirrel.
Right, yeah, kind of like that sort of thing, you know, like someone who at least understands that, or like is similar, because I feel like it takes a lot to kind of keep up with my personality. But also someone who's like doesn't necessarily take themselves seriously, because life's too short to be so serious about everything. Physicalness.
It's a word, but yeah.
Or what was, isn't physical feature. I don't know, I like him because of my active lifestyle. I like someone who's like fit and like, I guess more like an athletic style body.
Okay.
It was physical.
This segment of the podcast is going to be people writing in questions on my Instagram.
Oh boy.
What do we got?
The first one. Would I rather be 1 foot shorter or 10 years off your life? I think 10 years, because like being tall is nice. I can reach stuff. Also like for climbing.
For like if you're living for 70 years, you need to be tall for those 70 years.
Yeah, like at least I'll be tall for 70 years versus 80 years, so I can get a lot more stuff in, you know. Someone asked, what is my work-life balance? That's kind of hard. Recently I've been working a lot just because we have overtime. But
what, the last week?
It's been like a couple weeks.
Takes off every Friday.
Yeah, right now
it's on Mondays.
I prefer to keep it almost even. You know, it's pretty close when it's like, I take off Fridays.
4 days on, 4 days off.
But yeah, 4 days on, 4 days off. You know, I kind of I get sick on a lot of Mondays.
Hey, hopefully your boss is listening to this podcast.
There's no way he would listen to this podcast. Thoughts on beans? If you know, you know.
You don't know.
I don't know, but also like beans. Beans are good. Spilling the beans, even better, you know. The last time I cried, can't remember it, honestly. Probably like a year ago.
About?
Girl.
Tell us more, Jarod.
We don't gotta deep dive into that whole situation. But yeah, probably about a year ago. There's also one about FMK, Jason, Nick, or Dan. I'm still thinking Mary Dan, that boy will be your ride or die for sure. He's your hype man, your ride or die for sure, as I learned this weekend. Between Jason and Nick, it's hard, but I don't know. Nick's got a dog, so that kind of draws me, and maybe I'd fuck Nick.
Or if you kill him, though, then you get the dog.
I get the dog. That's true. Jackson seems fun, and I get the drone, so that maybe I'll kill Nick.
And the truck.
And the truck. There we go.
That's
how the way I get the truck. All right. Yeah, but Jason's got the Tacoma, so.
What's better, the F-150 or the Tacoma?
Tacoma.
Ooh, really?
Honestly, yeah.
I think I like the F-150 better.
That's personal.
I grew up a Ford fan, though.
Yeah.
So.
That was all the questions that we got
so
so
now
far.
red flag or
now
deal
red
breaker?
flag. Yeah. Give me a red flag.
Do you text in the movie theater? Or no, red flag or deal breaker, someone texts in the movie theater. Or like, person.
I think like as long as they're like it's a red flag, you know, like occasionally I feel like I text in it.
Okay. How about maybe talker?
I feel like every now and then I think it's like a red flag because unless they're like absurd about it, I think a little bit of talking is okay.
Red flag or deal breaker, your significant other has the same name as your mom or dad. Well, I guess your mom.
Deal breaker.
Why?
Don't. During sexy time, don't want to think about that, you know? Don't want to be calling out their name or like don't want to be describing it and then just be like, you know, that's a, you know, don't want that anywhere near. No Oedipus complex here, just.
Gotcha. What are your parents'
Yeah.
names?
Eric and Manda. And as you wanted me to say, her middle name is Lynn, like mandolin, because my grandpa was super into music.
It's cute.
I'm not disagreeing. It's just what, yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I have a younger sister. She's like 15 months younger than me.
Oh,
Complete
that's
opposite. Inside person, through and through.
Okay.
I definitely the outdoorsy child. My parents were like, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm like, "Can't respond. I'm outdoors. No service.
Good.
Sorry."
Yeah. They also have to probably worry about you more. But
They do. They worry about me so much more. I'm constantly throwing myself
Where
off
does your
cliffs,
sister
down
live?
rivers, or she lives back in Michigan still.
Okay.
Because she
yeah,
just
they
finished up
definitely
school.
worry about you then,
Yeah,
huh?
they worry about me way more.
Did they send you like jam and gummy bears and toys?
Oh, Toast to the dog? Yeah, they spoil him. Yeah.
They spoil you too. They send you gummy bears in the bag.
Right, there's gummy bears. You know, I get a few treats here and there, but I think it's only because they're like, we're sending him stuff and I'm just an afterthought, so.
Only giving that. Red flag or deal breaker, the person is an inside person. Likes to be inside.
Deal breaker. Because if they're only going to be inside, it's not going to work because if I'm not at work, I'm outside. Or if I don't have like laundry or like something I need to do inside, like all my work-life balance, my life is pretty much lived outside.
True. What if the person is not adventurous with food? Like, they just are set in stone, like, eat the same 3 things.
Like macaroni and burgers?
Hey, I eat sushi and other things. Please. But those are my go-tos.
Probably a deal breaker because I like cooking and I like experimenting with food. I also like trying new foods and a wide variety of food. So if I'm going to go to a restaurant like I want to go, I don't necessarily want to go eat by myself. But if they're not willing to try it, then I'm not going to go eat those foods unless I'm like with other people, which is fine, but I feel like I definitely want to be able to go anywhere and not have to worry about like only eating 3 things, or I definitely like trying new foods and new beers and all this thing. So yeah, I would say that's a deal breaker for sure.
Okay. Last question. Red flag or deal breaker, they don't like River Cobb.
Deal breaker, 100%. River Cobb for the win. Honestly, it was not that bad.
Just extra juicy because it's just wet.
Basically, yeah, it just felt like it had been boiled slightly longer. Would have finished the whole cob if I had known where it come from.
And didn't have to share.
They didn't have to share, yeah. But I wasn't sharing it. I guess I could have used a little more salt too, yeah.
No, dude, he's all calm down.
Hold it up!
Fuck it. Yeah. You thought it would?
Pass the cup!
But deal breaker if they don't like River Cobb. Best way to have a cob.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Humans on the Road. See you next time.